No studies this week. We're actually gonna do news. It's time for an Addyi update. This is Healthcare Triage News. If you haven't watched our episode on Flibanserin, otherwise known as Addyi, otherwise known as the female Viagra, now would be a good time to go back and watch it. We also covered it previously in Healthcare Triage News about a year ago. Let's recap from that one. Controversy still reigns. Many people are still arguing that the drug should not have been approved. And here are their arguments. The drug only works in fewer than 15% of women who take it. And when it does work, the benefit is that women should see, on average, about half an additional sexually satisfying episode per month. And there are real side effects. 1 in 5 women will have at least one. It comes with a black box warning, which is the highest level of alert from the FDA. The warnings include low blood pressure and fainting. Sounds awesome. A year later, things haven't gone so great for the drug. As Ed Silverman reports over at STAT, an advocacy group has graded the drug and the drug company to see how they're doing. Before we get to that, let's talk some sales, because they've been somewhat less than spectacular. Back in April, Valiant Pharmaceuticals fired the contract sales force that marketed the pill. At the time, Valiant was charging $800 for a prescription, about twice what Sprout, the previous owner, had anticipated the drug would cost. They paid $1 billion, with a B, in dollars for the drug. They thought they'd see that in sales in the first few months after launch. They've been cutting that forecast back again and again and again as sales have faltered. So how is Valiant performing in other areas? The FDA told them that they had to develop a risk management program. So far, they've got a PowerPoint and a 4-question test on their website. Their grade, according to the advocacy group, a D. They promised to do 3 new studies on the effect of alcohol and consumption in women. You may remember that the little data we had on alcohol and Flibanserin was in men, which is odd. Anyway, they get an incomplete on that because the studies ain't released. They were also told to conduct 2 pregnancy outcome-related studies and submit a final protocol last March before starting the studies shortly afterward. Since the other easier studies haven't been done yet, the advocacy group gave them an I for incomplete on this one too. Addyi argues they're working on it, but nothing's been released yet. Addyi is marketed to women age 18 to 44, but contraindicated if you're on birth control. So that's going to be problematic. And incomplete on birth control safety for them. And speaking of sex, women on Addyi can't take common medications for yeast infections, chlamydia, syphilis, HIV, and hepatitis C. So that's problematic too. A D grade there. In the final 2 categories, they got Fs. The first was product demand. In March 2016, there were 1,500 scripts written for Addyi. Compare that to about 500,000 for Viagra. I feel like the advocacy group is just kicking sand in Valiant's eyes there, because why are they worried about the drug selling so poorly when they clearly don't like it? Ditto for affordability. At $800 a month, it's very expensive to take on a daily basis. The bottom line is that 1 year later, the bad news is that the company doesn't appear to have done enough to ensure that it's being used safely. The good news, I guess, is that so few women are actually using it. We'll be following this closely. Healthcare Triage is supported in part by viewers like you through patreon.com, a service that allows you to support the show through a monthly donation. We'd especially like to thank our research associate Joe Sevitz and our Surgeon Admiral Sam. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Sam. More information can be found at patreon.com/healthcaretriage.